saw this card already. You guys think it's bad. I don't think it's that bad, but I can understand why it's not as good as Brawl. So that's cool. But yeah, that's the cards. Stadium Announcer. 4 mana 3/3 rewind. Battlecry. Both players equip a random weapon. Give yours +1/+1. Okay. There was a card called Blingtron from Goblins versus Gnomes that was played, and the reason that was good was because you got to use the weapon first, but you also got the minion. This is the same concept, but now you get +1/+1. It's 1 mana cheaper, and it's virtually the same stats. Problem is, it's weapons in the game currently, like in standard. It's not like older weapons either. I don't find HS nor Balatro that fun. As a fan of yours, I am dying. No, don't die. That's fine, man. You go through waves, right? You go through waves. It's all good. I appreciate you being here, though. I like the rewind mechanic on this, but I can't say that this is that good. I really don't think it's that great. This is the counter to Quest Druid. Oh, all right. Undefeated champion, 8 mana, 13/13. Rush, Battlecry, fill your opponent's board with random 1-cost minions. Probably bad, but I just don't think like the stat line here is relevant enough for you to want to play an 8 mana 13/13. Now, here's the thing. Any card that generates a random 8-cost minion just got a huge stonks up. Like that shit's kind of wild. Because the stats here are so relevant. Like, and you don't have taunt either, so your opponent can just like not ignore this. I think it's a generation. Play it with Bob. Okay. Pretty bad. If you randomly generate this, you're happy, but if you're playing that in your deck, you're probably not winning the game. Slow motion. 2 mana, your opponent's cards cost 1 more next turn. Okay. We have seen how good Cult Neophyte is as a 2 mana 3/2 gamers. A spell that makes all cards cost 1 more. That is incredibly interesting. Do I want this in a deck? Maybe. Cool thing about this card is like combos delayed by 1. That's actually a huge, like delaying a turn, right? Probably not good enough to see play in a deck though is the problem. I'm gonna go with that. Yeah, I think it's not good enough to see play. But maybe if you discover it, I don't know. I guess if there's like there's like a lot of combo decks around, this card's nice to have. This is just kind of like a nice card to have, you know? I kind of like it just in the game. What's up, dog? It would feel awful if it's good. Isn't that most Hearthstone cards? There's potential. It's tough to actually say if this is bad or good. It really depends on what's playable, but it's not horrible. Play works with good control warrior list. So it's like if you're going against aggro and you play this card, you're theoretically skipping their turn, right? If I play this on 2, I'm not develop anything, but if I skip my opponent's turn, it's not bad. Against combo, you could play this to kind of stop their combo from happening. And because of that reason, it might be good enough to also see play that. I think this is better against an aggro deck if you have it directly on 2. Problem ends up being the more you have this card, the worse it gets until like an OTK threshold comes. So I feel like it's not good enough to be in the game or to be in your deck unless you have a very particular reason you want to use it. But I'm not like freaking out about it. You know, it's fun. For Glory, 5 mana, draw 2 cards, cost 1 less for each minion your opponent controls. Okay. If Arcane Intellect is a 3 mana, draw 2, and that card's not very good anymore, that means that this card would have to be 2 mana or less for you to even see play, or for this to even see play. And you're basing this off your opponent, which isn't inherently great, I guess that's the synergy for undefeated champion is for glory, but do we really want that? I don't think we're really playing this combo, boys. I'm going to be honest. I think there's probably better stuff we could be doing with our deck. I guess if you're like really desperate for draw, I guess this is fine. I feel like this is not consistently good enough either. The thing is like it's so good if you really need the draw against an aggro deck. So again, it's one of these cards that like might be playable depending on what's in the game, but it's probably not that great. On average, this is probably going to be 3 to 4, unless you're going against a deck that goes full wide. But I mean, this counter Quest Druido as well, right? Easy. Probably not good enough though. Unleash the Crocolis, 1 mana, gain 10 armor, summon 2/2/3 beasts for your opponent. Okay, so there's the synergy. So you go this would now be 3. You could do it again for 2 mana, 20 armor, make this cost 1, and all of a sudden you're drawing cards for 1 mana. What a weird card this is. I gotta really see what the synergy with this is, but that's so interesting. Is this something a Crocolis? Like a I was kind of hoping to be a River Crocolis. That works. Brawl is back, I guess. I mean, Brawl's always good though, right? So like I feel like you don't really need a reason to play Brawl. Also, do you know how fucking miserable it's gonna feel if you lose that Brawl? This card in Wild is so good, by the way, with Odin. Yeah, like with this card with Odin is disgusting, but you probably don't care. Guys, can I say something? Can I say something? Based on how this year is going, I feel like rotation might be pretty goated. I feel like the game is going to be in a really good spot after rotation, and maybe that was their plan all along. It's like the power level seems like it's decreasing so much, so once all these older ass expansions are gone, like maybe the game will be more fun. Like surely, right? This isn't playable currently. Like this no way, right? But maybe I'm coping too hard here because like a lot of these cards are cool. I don't think they're playable, but maybe after the rotation there is. That's some insane cope. Okay, guys, Ziliax will be gone. Wait, Fire-Act is still on the game. Let's see what happens. Whatever. Precursory Strike, 2 mana, deal 3 damage. If you're holding a minion that costs 5 or more, draw a minion. Holding a minion that costs 5 or more, draw a minion. All right. All right. I mean, that's pretty good. It's definitely not like good. Like you play that in probably every warrior deck. I'm going to be completely honest. That runs a 5 cost or more. Like that's just good. I think, and you can go face. Great card. Easy include. Heir of Hereafter. 5 mana 2/6 taunt battlecry gain +2/+2 for each damage minion. Gladiator. This card good. It's kind of even like, do we need to look at this? What is the Fabled Legendary? I haven't even seen it yet. That card seems so fucking ass. No? Even if you hit like 2 minions, I'm not playing it. I don't know. I'm gonna rate a mini from your deck. So I'm gonna 5/5 Tiger with stealth for your opponent. What's the Tiger look like? Oh, that's kind of sick. 5 mana for this is not. Okay. We had 6 mana recruit a minion in Kobolds and Catacombs. I don't remember if that card was played, but it was on like the verge of being played. This is like potentially worse. 5/5 Tiger with stealth is so weird because they don't like attack either. I wish they attacked. I have no idea how good this card is. I feel like there's not enough stuff for Warrior to want to play for this. Nikki, what's up, man? Welcome back. Hey, you've been subscribed for 9 months, bro. The child is being born. Are you in the hospital right now? I don't want your water breaking. You're not in the hospital. We're cooked. It's fighting a coyote's cake. Okay. Let's relax with the coyote stuff. Yeah, we haven't. Oh, we've already seen the coyote stuff. Dude, I asked people this weekend, do you think I could beat a coyote in combat? And yes, I actually legitimately asked that question. And people said yes. So I'm just saying. Logosh Blood Fighter, 7 mana 7/7. This is the Fabled. Rush Death Rattle, summon a Blood Fighter from your hand. It gains +5/+5 and attacks a random enemy. Okay, so you need one of these in your hand. Valera, excuse me, what the fuck? Elusive and Taunt. Wait, is that Brawl? Wait, isn't Brawl a legendary currently in the game? Hunter is weird, I guess. I don't know. Is this good? Okay, if you have Logosh seems to be probably the best one on average. I'd rather have Rush than Taunt and Elusive because it's it immediately does something to the board. So if you play this card, you get a 12/12 with Rush, and you also get the Death Rattle. You need the other one in hand. If you have all three in hand and you play this, that's kind of nutty. I don't know anything about the lore per se, but this is a really hard card to evaluate. I really don't know if it's going to be that consistent. So what do you have? You have an ability to pull stuff from your deck, which is not great for the buff. You could draw a minion, which is probably the more important thing. That's about it, no? I guess it's fine. I feel okay. I'm gonna say something here. I feel like Warrior got like a pretty mediocre set. I feel like the only card I want is this. And the rest of them, I'm kind of like whatever about it. I don't understand how any of this beats like Fyrakk and like the Tortola. Like this just looks bad. I'm gonna be honest. Like there's some cards that I think might be playable, like Slow Motion and maybe For Glory, but I just don't see how this wins any games currently. Now after rotation, like maybe, but it still seems kind of whatever. All right, let's see Mage. Mirror Dimension. 1 mana, summon a 0/4 minion with Taunt. If you're holding a dragon, summon another. I mean, wow. Okay, hold on. Against aggro, this is kind of fucked up. That is so annoying to get through. Mirror Image was just good because it delayed the game. This is even more annoying. Could be like against slower matchups, this card's almost irrelevant, but against aggro, like it's really, really good. It's interesting. Alter Time. 4 mana, discover 2 arcane spells from the past. They cost 2 less. Arcane spells from the past. Chat, what's a good arcane spells? The only one that comes to my mind is Primordial Glyph. Can't think of anything else. Shield Bearer Power Creep. Ooh, Star Power is a good one. Star Power is definitely good. This card's good with the Mage Quest as well. Greater Arcane Missiles for 9 damage to the face. Conjurer's Calling is hot. That's a hot card to see. You're excited for that. All right, card might be good. I think in Quest Mage, it's also an interesting thought, but it might just be good on its own. Watchers made Arcane Explosion look good. I'll have to check it out later. The fucking 2 mana Finale Discover card and get it back. Forgot the name. Oh, Infatize the Met something. I don't know. Could be good. I don't know. It's tough because there's a lot. Like anything that's from the past is kind of really hit or miss because there's so much dog shit and wild. That's the issue with here. I'm gonna try to pronounce this. Algethar, Algethar, instructor, 5 mana 4/7 spell damage +2, and it's a dragon. What the fuck? This is like the worst card I've ever seen. What? Why did they? What? Bro, in Savers of Uldum, there's literally a card that's just better than this, and it was 4 mana. It's Archmage from Classic, 1 mana cheaper. Archmage, I believe, give you +1 spell damage, not +2. It is one more. There's a card from Savers of Oldham that was a 4-mana 2/3 discover a dragon. Wait, I don't even know. Was it if you're holding a dragon, discover a dragon, or is it just discover a dragon? And then it was also spell damage +2. So like, why did we make this card like 6 years after? What the fuck? Okay, was it from Descent? Oh yeah, it's from Descent. Sorry, my bad. Not Oldham. Not Oldham. Okay, let's continue. Maybe there's synergy with this, but I don't know. Arcane Barrage, 3 mana, deal 3 damage to an enemy and 2 damage to 2 other random ones. Disgusting card against aggro. Very good against aggro. Especially because you can go face. And both those interact with spell damage. That's still not a good. That doesn't make this a good card, but that's a good card. That's a card you can kind of look at and go like, damn. You can't go all face, which is a bit unfortunate, but that's a lot of damage. Looking good. Azure Queen Syndragoza. What number of Syndragoza is this, chat? Is this 5, 4? 5 mana 2/8 Fabled. If you control another dragon, your arcane spells cost 2 less. You get the Azure Oathstone, which summons your dragons that died this game. Then you get Azure King Malagos. 5 mana 2/8. If you control another dragon, your arcane spells cost twice. Okay, so you want to play this, have this die. You want to play this, have it die. Then you play the Oathstone, and then you're like popping off. Sure, man. Like I guess you could make the claim that this card is designed for it to return, but also like so would be the 4-mana dragon from Descent of Dragons, and that's just fucking miserable. Kind of an interesting card though, I'm not gonna lie to you. Very slow, but these both kind of have like the Bran effect where you kind of need to kill it. You can't, like, if I drop my nuts on the table and you don't have an answer for my nuts, you're probably losing the game. Like, that's just probably what it's gonna be. And same thing with this. You can't leave this one alive. The issue of being is it's 5 mana, and then if you play this, you have no mana, so you need to play with Ysera as well. I guess maybe with Ysera, if there's enough arcane stuff, it's kind of interesting. Does anyone know with Malagos, if I shoot an arcane spell at your face, does it guarantee go face? Or no? I didn't know Mage was in Disneyland. That's pretty funny. Same target. If it's same target, this card kind of slaps. There's a decent amount of arcane spells that you'd be okay with, because like this card, for example, just fine. I wouldn't sleep on this. It's an interesting. It's kind of a win condition in itself, so it might be okay. Because it doesn't feel bad, because you don't have to, like, you could just play them, see how your opponent responds, and then later you have this. So if you're playing with Ysera, like, it might be okay. Mage has a lot of stall, which we saw like already with the very first card, so it might be okay. I'm kind of for it. Time Looper Toki, 4 mana 4/4 battlecry. Get 4 random spells from the past. When you play all 4, get another Time Looper Toki. Okay, this card is ass. Card is so bad. Oh my. Okay, the thing about this is that it's a fun card, right? People love this card. People are gonna like this card a lot. It's just very bad. The problem ends up being that there's a lot of spells that like just don't interact positively for you, and I'm thinking like mainly weapon buffs. I guess if you have the quest, I guess you can play it, but still you have to spend 4 mana for a 4/4, then you also have to spend the mana on the spells. What happens if you play this and your hand isn't full? Like if you only got like 3 spells, I'm guessing because you need to play 4, you won't even get another one in hand. No, this card's bad, unfortunately. This card in like 2017 would go crazy. 2018 would go crazy, like maybe even 2019. Just too slow. I also, again, I said it earlier, like literally like 10 minutes ago, but things from the past is really hard because a lot of the spells are kind of ass. Like that's kind of the biggest problem we're gonna see with this card is most of the spells from the past, because they're not only mage spells, end up being kind of whatever. So yeah, and there's a lot of spells in this game, so that seems like a really bad card, unfortunately, but will be fun for people who really like it. Anomalize is a 7-mana summon a random 10 and 1 cost minion, scramble their stats. Why would I want this? Why would I ever want this? I don't even get to discover them. They're just random. Seems really bad. Ow! I just hit my leg. That seems really bad. There's just no way, man. Faceless Enigma, 2-mana 2/2 battlecry. Look at 2 random secrets. Pick one to cast for yourself, the other cast for your opponent. What the fuck is that? John, welcome back, man. Tier 3, I love you. Legend today. Are you feeling okay? I have a video idea, John. I have a video idea. How old are you? What is this card, bro? If you get the infinite, yeah, like I feel like if you gave this, like the spells cost 1 less, then we're kind of cooking with that one. But that sounds bad. Look at 2 random secrets. This is also secrets that are currently in standard. I was thinking like maybe you get ice block and then you're kind of cooking, but seems bad. Temporal Construct, 7-mana battlecry, deal 5 damage to an enemy minion, draw cards equal to the excess damage. If you draw 4 cards from this, are you like losing your mind? That's kind of sick. 7-mana, draw 4, get a 5/5. Draw 3. 3's maybe okay. 2 is when we start talking. Like, why am I running this card? It's also just overkill, unfortunately, and overkill wasn't good. With no context to the rest of this, Hearthstone is pulling off an end of a V-era Vanguard moment where they're toning down the power creep due to people complaining, but then the same people want stuff to new cards to be powerful. Okay, so I'm gonna let's have a quick discussion on that, Mark. Hearthstone as a game needs to design cards that people want to use that are fun, not necessarily powerful, but fun. Being fun is not the same thing as being powerful. Being interesting is also not the same thing as being powerful. Powerful just means that you are currently stronger than the rest of the cards available in the game. If you're interesting and you're powerful, that is a design win. If you're just powerful but not interesting, then you don't really have a great design either. So like you kind of want something in the middle ground. Now, the thing is, you could make the case that if they lower the power level for this expansion for this entire year, and they wrote all these cards rotate, then they have an easier time designing new and fun, exciting cards, because now there's more room to work with when it comes to power. The flip side of it is, by making cards that are weaker, then people are not as excited because then none of these cards are actually playable. It is like shooting yourself in the knee so you don't have to, like, it's like shooting yourself in the knee preemptively to get a better leg in the future. I don't know how else to describe it. Like, I don't know. But that's the concept here. Now, is that good? Maybe. Like it will depend severely on, like, if this is like, I think we could all probably agree that most of the cards in this expansion don't look like they're gonna make a huge impact. Like currently, it looks fun. Don't get me wrong, but we could probably all agree that most of the cards don't think they'll make enough of an impact during the standard year. The hope is after rotation, this actually ends up being like the threshold of like what needs to be a playable card. And then the next expansion that comes out after rotation also has to be in the same power level. Because if that new expansion is like Whizbang's Workshop, it's so fucked. It's so fucked, brother. It's so fucked. Like it's so cooked. And Hearthstone isn't a good game then, since there are so many creative ideas you can make. Genuine question, since most creative cards have been used up. Wait, so hold on. Hearthstone doesn't, okay. Hearthstone inherently is just a good game. I hate to be this guy. It's just a good game. Now, when it comes to individual expansions, then we can have a conversation. The expansions themselves have to be interesting and creative. And that is like the hardest part about being a designer. Most of us, listen, I'm gonna put it like this. If you have never designed a game, you don't understand how hard it is to actually make good cards or good and fun cards. Because it's easier from an outsider's perspective to be like, these cards suck ass. Who's making these cards? But if you actually try to make something fun and interesting, people who want to play with them, it's a lot harder. That's not a defense against potentially just designing a really bad expansion, right? We all saw Angoro. You know what I mean? We all saw Angoro. It is hard to do it, but it's not an excuse. Hearthstone, and I said this before, like Hearthstone just needs one expansion to be back. That's basically what it is. You guys remember the year of like Stormwind, Barrens, and Valley kind of sucked, kind of poo. Voyage into the Sunken City was kind of gas. You know what I mean? Like they just need one expansion. I'm hoping the end goal here from, I'm hoping the goal for this year was to take an L, understand that the game is too powerful and the game is just going to a direction that is for most people just not enjoyable. They take a year down. They take a year. They take a year to take an L. The following year, it ends up being worth it. Remember this moment, all right? If next year people are like, "Holy fuck, this game's in a good spot," maybe it's because they did it intentionally. Now, am I gonna sit here and tell you that these cards are playable in the current year of Hearthstone? Most of them are not. I'm not playing this card. I refuse to play this card. But I could see at least kind of the vision, and I'm not coping. And I'm not coping. But I think there is also definitely an argument for like the expansion doesn't look fun, so therefore I'm not buying it. The Dragons going in the Fabled package, literally, it's still a bad card. Like there's nothing you could say here, because we had Azure Explorer from Descent to Dragons, which was just a better card than this. And if you go, well, this card is designed for like it to be resummoned, you could say the same thing about Azure Explorer, and Azure Explorer is just a better card. Why don't they just rotate the previous year early? I mean, that is an impossible topic. Okay, that's an impossible topic. Here, the problem ends up being, if I bought these cards and they rotate early, I need compensation for all of those cards. Because I was promised, well, I was under the assumption and maybe promised, I don't know if there's actually like a line of, these cards will be around until they rotate from the expansion. Like Gen and Baku was an exception. I don't think they want to make that the rule. So sometimes you just got to take an L. I will say this. Okay, I will say this. The year of the Raven, when it was added to the game, was pretty miserable because that's the year with Witchwood, Doomsday Project, and Rastakhan's Rumble. Okay? That year sucked. But that was also in the same rotation as Ungoro, Frozen Throne, and Kobolds and Catacombs. After that previous year rotated, the year of the Mammoth rotated, that ended up being my favorite year with Rise of Shadows, Savers of Uldum, and Descent to Dragons. Because after all three of those expansions rotated, the game was actually in a really good spot. So you're basically, I'm under the assumption that they're okay with just kind of taking a year off, not a year off, but like a year where like they're thinking about designing for the future. And because of that reason, I hope it ends up being positive for the game. Now, I can't guarantee that because, again, it really depends on A, does it work out? B, what expansion's coming out after this year? C, I don't know what C is, but you know what I mean. What's up, man? Oh, why are you in YouTube chat? Get over here to fucking Twitch. What the hell? You're like a tier 3 sub for like 8 million years. So I'm hoping. I have no idea what will actually end up happening. Again, I want to remind you guys, I do not work on the game. But there is a chance that this will be for the greater good. You know what I mean? It's like they're Doctor Strange and they found the one timeline where they need. You see what I did because this is a timeline expansion? All right. Anywho.